It is Monday, April 14th, and let's go through some of the current astrology that we have happening for this coming week. We are just moving off of the full moon in Libra that we had this past weekend. So a few days ago, the energy is still alive and well. You could be feeling a little bit hungover with this full moon, a little bit drunk on emotions. There was a lot that was coming up to the surface, not just this past weekend with this full moon, but really the weeks before, really the past month with eclipse season. It's been a whirlwind of energy. There's been a lot that's being illuminated and brought up to the surface right now. So much that is being kind of shined a light on our own wounds, on karmic patterns, on these cycles that have probably been going on for a very long time, probably our whole lifetime, really, especially in regards to relationship. With this full moon, Chiron was a big player up there that is conjunct with the sun. So the sun is kind of shining its light, shining its life force energy on this wound, on a primal wound that we all have. And it is in regards to our identity and how we show up in the world and what we believe to be true for ourselves, what's possible for ourselves, how we move through the world, how we take action on what we want, what we desire. It's kind of like having a really strong sense of self, being strong, autonomous, kind of independent within ourselves. Not that any person can exist on their own, because we're looking at relationship dynamics this week, but it's about our sovereignty and our autonomy. And with this full moon that we just moved through, there was a huge focus on relationship, on how we come together with another, how we show up in relationship of all kinds. We are constantly in relationship with people all day long. So it's how do you show up in those processes? And hopefully there was a lot of insight, a lot of clarity that is continuously coming through now that we have Venus here. It is officially direct. So you can see it's no longer red. All the planets are direct, actually, at this moment. None of them are retrograde. So we have a period of time where there is some forward momentum. We still have planets that are in their post-shadow period. That's fine. But I want to speak to Venus. And Venus going direct with this full moon, it can feel like kind of like you're coming back home into yourself, like your soul is coming back into the body, like you're feeling yourself again. You know, the Venusian energy is about beauty and harmony and peace and where we feel good and what we enjoy. And so these things may be coming back into our life, or kind of feeling this spark or this reignition of this internal flame in regards to knowing our innate value, our inherent worth, you know, how we show up in relationship. Again, that is a direct reflection of our own individuation process and how we have healed. That's what we're looking at with Chiron. It is highlighting a wound in regards to our own unique sense of self and our identity, and a wound within ourselves in regards to being able to assert our needs, to have strong boundaries, to know what we want. And so we're looking at relationship dynamics and themes, and again, hopefully having a lot of clarity and awareness, because with the direct movement of Venus, with it going direct now, we have moved through the retrograde period where we were searching for answers, we were connecting the dots, and now as it moves forward, we move forward with a bit more clarity and decisiveness. We're moving through the end of Aries season, right? The sun is almost into Taurus here soon. In a few days, it'll move into Taurus. And this Aries season has been very watery. It's been very, it's kind of like a longer Pisces season, truly, because of all of this energy that we have in the sign of Pisces. There can still be this feeling of surrendering and letting go and trusting in the divine, trusting in source, needing to kind of let go and understand that we are completing a big cycle, that we're coming full circle with this Pisces energy here. Because Saturn is involved, there is a seriousness to it. There's a sobering energy. There is a stabilizing and solidifying energy. There is a need to, now that we have gone through this journey of reassessing our values and what's important to us and what we want in relationship. Now that we have a better grip on what that is, we need to commit to that. We need to solidify that. We need to build from that place. That is what Saturn is indicating. And it is all tied up here with the North Node. So this is very potent information and messages that are coming through. It's like the actions that we're taking is very directly linked to our fate and to kind of what we're here to do, to a bigger picture than just, being so consumed by our own individual lives. This is like our highest trajectory that we can go down. The highest timeline is the North Node. It is what we're meant to step into and to embrace, to lean into. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easy or going to be comfortable, but this is what we're here to embrace, this energy. So along with Venus going on its retrograde journey, which happens once about every year and a half, we have Mars that recently moved through its retrograde journey that also doesn't happen very often. Mars goes retrograde about every 2 years, so a little bit less often than Venus does. And so this is another deeply powerful transformational journey that we've been going on with both of these planets. And Mars has been direct, right? But this week it is going to move into the sign of Leo, which is where it was before it ever started its retrograde period. So basically, it's kind of like this week we're coming back home into ourselves. We've gone on this deep journey with Mars and with Venus, reestablishing our values, what's important to us. Mars is connected to our personal power. So we've been reviewing themes, especially around family dynamics and how we can show up, how we can kind of harness our own personal power or lack thereof, where we feel disempowered. And this is all going back to, childhood, back to primal wounds, back to, maybe it goes down in the ancestral line, like going back generations. This is deep kind of family karmic stuff that we've been looking at that then directly influence the quality of our relationships and how we can show up in relationship. So we've been on this retrograde journey. We've been reviewing these things with Mars. We've been reviewing how we take action, how we assert ourselves, how we take up space, how we have strong boundaries, how we move towards what we desire and move away from what we don't. This decisive, clear-cut action that we're able to take in our lives. And so we have gone through this healing process. We've gathered information. We've gone into the underworld and the depths of our own psyche with this particular planet. And this week is when it moves into Leo. And so it's starting to return back to where it was before it started its retrograde journey. So it's kind of like coming back into yourself with a renewed sense of power and direction and kind of knowing what you want. And maybe there are a lot of changes that are taking place. Mars is going to oppose Pluto for the last time. This has been an ongoing aspect that's been happening over the past few months, and where we've been reevaluating what it is that we want and how we take action on our desires. Maybe we're going to be completely changing our trajectory and focusing on new things that are more connected with who we are now, with what matters to us now. But this is some beautiful energy that we're working with, especially coming off of eclipse season, coming off of this Libra full moon that we just had. There has been so many realizations, so much awareness around our own patterns and our own cycles and the ways that we show up and do things and what is serving us and what is outdated. And we need to change how we act and how we move towards relationship or move towards what it is that we desire and what we want. So hopefully having a lot of awareness around that and moving through a lot of healing with Chiron as well, healing wounds within us around our identity and our belief in ourselves and our ability to kind of take up space and to go after what we want. Now, this week, as a lot of these planets are direct and the energy's kind of coming back into ourselves, we're starting to feel a little bit of forward momentum, starting to get more clarity and more direction in regards to where we want to go next. So just being patient with yourself and also being committed and dedicated to the practices that connect you with yourself and with spirit, with Venus and Saturn over here. We need to be committed and dedicated to the spiritual practices, to our artistic practices, our creative expression practices, the things that help us come home to ourselves and to feel that sense of empowerment. So I hope that this helps you and supports you in working with the current energy of this week. As always, I'm available for personalized readings. You can reach out to me here.